Hello and welcome to week 10 here. Week 10 is going to do one very important thing in sort of a general overview sort of way, which is introduce the idea of interactivity. Our class is called 2D Animation and Interactivity. Because of this, we should be able to interact with our movies. As you have probably noticed, Flash continually wants to, what I always say, go, go, go. It runs through the movie, and when it gets to the end, it creates or goes back to the beginning, and we sort of play again. What we're going to be doing in this and in Project 3 is offering our viewer is myself, is your students, your classmates, whoever else might look at these, offer them a choice. So one of the main ideas here is getting our movie to stop. Okay. A couple things about what we're going to be heading into. I'm going to skip a few things or maybe just sort of stop the movie. If you're looking at the step-by-step, you see that there's a simple motion tween going on with a red ball and a green ball. That should be old hat at this point. So I might sort of stop the movie and then make these things real quick so that we can sort of move through this interactive part much more quickly. The other thing is we are heading into what's called ActionScript. ActionScript is the language that Flash uses to get things done. We're going to be doing some very, very basic stuff, but it is important because it is the first time we can sort of program into Flash the things that we want to get done. So without further ado, I am going to head into this buttons, and as usual, I'm going to be doing the step-by-step. This one's a little more it's new stuff, and that's why I'm doing a video. Some of the things that we've done in the past few weeks, I felt you could do with the step-by-step instructions pretty um, uh, much more easily. I want to show you some few things here in terms of this ActionScript that kind of need to be seen a little bit better. So first and foremost, I'm going to skip to step 4 here, and I'm going to modify the document. I need a little more room. This is how we change the size of this. So modify document. I'm going to make this 800 by 600, and I'm going to choose a background color, gray here. Just doing this to sort of change the orientation of the movie and show that we can sort of permanently change that background color of the stage. Hit OK. Zoom out a little bit. Next thing it says, and this is where I'm going to pause here for a second, it says step 6, create 3 different scenes. Name one scene home, another scene red ball, and name a third scene green ball. You'll see in the instructions I sort of put those in quotes. Don't put the name of these in quotes, but put them as these exact names. It's very important because we're going to be referencing these names when we get to the script, that we are consistent and know what we've named these scenes. By this I mean we're going to sort of refer to them later in the script. If you get it wrong, or if you label it something and then call it something else in the script, it's not going to work. Okay. So what I'm going to do is 3 scenes. One's home, one's red ball, and one's green ball. And I'll actually do these. So I'm going to insert the scene. And I'm going to go to Window, Scene. I'm going to get this open. Put that right in the center. And scene 1 I'll call home. Scene 2 I will call red ball. And we can also add a scene right here. And I'm going to call this green ball. Okay. So we have 3 scenes, and they're just going to house our little animations, our tweens, so that we know that our script is working correctly. I'm going to keep this open because I'm going to be popping around to these different scenes. Now, step 7 and 8, that's where I'm going to sort of pause here for a second. It says create a simple motion tween over 60 frames in the red ball scene of a red graphic moving across the stage. Okay, so we're going to insert a very simple graphic, a red ball and a green ball, and then we're going to animate those two graphics on the stage here. So I'm going to stop and then sort of review this when I come back. Okay, I am back, and I have a couple things to show you here. First and foremost, I made 2 graphics. One's the red ball, one's the green ball. Pretty straightforward. On my red ball scene, I have a tween of the red ball going simply across the stage, and same with green ball. Okay, I'm just sort of setting up places for us to basically go to. what our button is going to do, it's going to allow us to sort of click on something and go to a particular place. Okay, so let's go to step 9 here. It says go to the home scene. So I have to make sure I'm on the right scenes. Home scene has nothing. This is sort of going to be the base from which we move to another spot. It says go to window actions. Okay, so I'm going to go to window actions. Second. And what it's going to do is it's going to open up this window that looks like this. And it's basically a place where we can type something. This is the first action we are going to put in there. And this is going to be a stop action. What this stop action does, and it just looks like this, is it stops the movie on that first frame. It's going to be kind of hard to see in the video, but when you do this on your own file, you're going to see a tiny little A appear on that first frame where we put this stop action. Okay, I'm going to actually rename this layer, and that's our step 12, stop action. Okay, and that's just going to be the layer where that stuff happens. Later we're going to be putting the buttons down, and we want those in different spots. Okay, now we've set up our movie to sort of now insert the buttons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually close those, and I'm going to go to, and this isn't in the directions, but I want to show you. It says control test movie. We should see that when we come into Flash now, and you can sort of see my Swift, I have 3 scenes in this movie. I have the home scene, I have the red ball scene, and I have the green ball scene. Now, this is just a gray box right now. And the reason being is that when Flash comes into this frame and hits that playhead right there, it sees a stop. Okay? Unlike the movies you've made up to this point, it doesn't want to go, go, go. It sees that stop and it sort of does what it says, which is stop. Okay? At this point, we don't have anywhere to go. We can't click on anything to sort of go anywhere. What we're going to end up doing is inserting these buttons, and if you want to think of something like a web link, that's probably the easiest thing to think about. We're going to insert these buttons that allow us to go to these different scenes. Okay, so step 13, it says choose insert new symbol and name the symbol go to green button, and this should be this should help set it apart from the green ball graphic. Okay, now the symbol should be a button. Okay, so I'm going to insert new symbol. And we've done graphics, we've done movie clips. We're going to choose a button now. Okay, and I'm going to call this go to green ball button. Now, being super organized, I want to sort of specify that. That's what that parentheses means. This should set it apart from the green ball graphic. Okay, so I'm a button and I am go to green ball button. That's the name of it. You'll see, just like when we create a movie clip or when we create a simple new graphic symbol, when we hit OK here, we're going to go into kind of the library where we're sort of sketching out the button. Hit OK. Now, first and foremost, this looks different. Okay, this sort of our little sketch pad should look similar to how we were making a any sort of graphic, but up here your timeline looks different. Okay, and I'm going to go over sort of what that means and why it looks different. You will also notice over here it says go to green ball button. The symbol for that is a little hand with a sort of cute little button that indicates that this is a button. Okay, now step 16 says choose the text tool and draw a text box. Okay, so I'm going to choose this. I'm going to draw a text box and type go to green ball in a dark shade of green. Okay, so I'm going to go to green ball. And what I'm going to do is actually, I'm going to highlight this. And I am going to, hold on a second. I'm going to highlight this and go over to properties and change the size of this to something like 50. That's a little big. I'll go 40. Stretch this out a little bit. Okay. Remember, I can click on this in the properties and change the color. I'm going to choose that be a darker shade of green. Okay. So I have this go to green ball. This is a button. Okay. Currently, it only has one state. It's called the up state. And I'm going to sort of describe what these states are here in a second. Now, it says, let's see here, step 18, insert keyframes in each of the over, down, and hit states. Okay, so I'm going to control click, and I'm going to insert a keyframe, and insert a keyframe. Now, these, what are called states up here, what they represent is sort of, if you think of the button as kind of a web link, they represent sort of the up state, which is the normal state. The over state has to do when you hover over that. If you think of like a web link changing colors, the down state has to do with what happens when you actually click down on that button. And the hit state has to do with how big or sensitive of an area is it when you sort of scroll over something. Okay. These can all be changed. This is sort of a timeline up here that only has kind of 4 spots in it. Okay. So what we've done is we've sort of spread out the, we've basically assigned a keyframe to each of these. What we're going to do, and this is sort of step 19, highlight the text on the overstate keyframe and simply choose a different color. Okay. So I'm on the overstate. You can see that up here. And highlight that, and I'm just going to sort of change this, okay, to like a brighter green. So you'll see when I sort of get to the overstate, it just sort of changes color. What this is going to allow is sort of an indication that I always call it kind of a reward for the user. When we roll over something, it indicates that it's going to do something if we hit it. Okay. It says repeat the steps 13 through 19. But let's make a red ball button. So I'm going to stop the video here and quickly do that. Okay, I'm back, and I have 2 buttons now. If I double click on my green ball, you'll see I have my go to green ball. When it's on the overstate, it highlights to a different color. I'm going to leave the down and the hit state as they are. We're making them one of the more simple buttons. Now I'm going to go to red ball. I made this. I made it turn kind of pinkish when it goes to the overstate, but I have basically a copy of that green ball button. It just says red ball and is red. So next thing we're going to do is starting on step 21. And what we're going to be doing here is basically going to the home scene and creating 2 layers that sort of house these 2 buttons. It's important that we give these guys layers because they are going to have script attached to them. And just to be sort of tidy and clean about it, it's better if they are on sort of separate layers. I'm going to actually stop the video and finish this up in a new video or sort of a second video because I'm running up against the 15 minutes. So when we go to buttons 2 video here, we're going to sort of hop over to home and do something with these buttons.